Right guys, so welcome back to another video on this channel, and Chelsea Football Club are into the FA Cup final against Arsenal, a 3-1 victory over Manchester United in the FA Cup semi-final at Wembley. Thank God we have actually beaten Manchester United this season. Who would have thought it was possible? But yeah, I'm honestly so happy right now. I'm absolutely buzzing. We've actually managed to beat Manchester United. I know it's quite sad considering the fact we've lost them 3 times already this season, but yet another Frank Lampard masterclass in a big game. It's just a customary thing for him now in these big games to just produce these tactical masterclasses, very similar to what Mikel Arteta did for Arsenal yesterday against Manchester City. But this is not the first and definitely will not be the last time Frank Lampard gets the better of the opposing manager in a big game, and hopefully now he can carry that form into the game against Liverpool on Wednesday night, then the game against Wolves, and of course the game against Arsenal on August the 1st in the FA Cup final. I am absolutely hoping and praying we can win that match, because it would just be unbelievable to see Frank Lampard win a trophy in his very first season as Chelsea manager. But yeah, before I do get into this video and obviously like going through it and stuff like that, I do want to wish Eric Bailly a speedy recovery, because the injury he suffered wasn't nice to see, and for a player who's missed a lot of football over the last 2 or 3 years and hasn't really managed to make his stamp on this United team because of the injuries he suffered, it wasn't a nice one to see. So yeah, hopefully he recovers quickly. But now on to the game as we go through it. Now I'm gonna firstly say David De Gea should hang his head in shame, and maybe all the stuff that Roy Keane and the other pundits said about David De Gea wasn't all that far-fetched, because today he was absolutely shocking. It was one of the worst performances I've seen from him over the last 2 or 3 years, or even the last decade or so, for Manchester United. I mean, of course, we played 11 minutes into first half injury time because of the Eric Bailly injury, and then Olivier Giroud gets on the end of Azpilicueta's cross, who was an assist machine for us this season, like he usually is. I mean, he doesn't get the credit he deserves in terms of attacking. One of the best defenders one-on-one in the league, but going forward, he's really underrated. He gets a lot of assists for us. And Olivier Giroud, a very good finish. What an unbelievably technically gifted footballer Giroud is for such a tall guy. As I said in one of my last videos, he's just an unbelievable footballer. He's a great brain when it comes to these sort of things, and that was another typical Giroud finish, and it got us off the mark and really made the game very open, because yes, we were on top for the most of the first half, but the game was still very much 50-50. But yeah, then for the second goal, literally a few minutes into the second half, Mason Mount gets on the end of it and puts it into the bottom corner, and De Gea was absolutely, he just did absolutely horribly for it, completely let it through his gloves. And then yes, the third goal, very well worked. Alonso puts it into the box, and Rudiger, I thought, actually did get on the end of it, but it did go down as an own goal for Harry Maguire, who just didn't have a great game at all today, if I'm honest, and that's not really unusual for Maguire. I mean, he did cost £80 million, I know, and United fans like to rave about him the whole time, but I think he is so overrated. Don't get me wrong, he's a decent enough centre-back, but there is not a hope in hell that he will be the leading centre-back in a United title-winning side. There is absolutely no hope in hell that would happen. Now, in terms of the standout performers, I mean, obviously Olivier Giroud and Mason Mount, the 2 main goal scorers in that game, are going to be the main 2 that get the praises, and they did do very, very well. But I do want to give a special shout out to the midfield pivot in Mateo Kovacic and Jorginho, who completely just blanked out Bruno Fernandes for the entire 90 minutes. And yet the 3 at the back formation really did play to their strengths a lot, because in the 2-man midfield, they're very good at going forward and very good at adapting to the pressing system that United like to play now. And yet they just completely nulled Fernandes' impact on this United team. He did get the ball quite a lot, but he didn't manage to get anything creative done. Also as well, to another player that we criticise quite a lot as Chelsea fans, and yeah, sometimes he maybe deserves it, but Antonio Rudiger was very good today. He just looked like a world-class centre-back, and at that stage we're thinking, why have we not seen this over the last few weeks from Antonio Rudiger? He was absolutely unbelievable today. And yeah, I want to give another shout out, of course, to the full-backs, Reece James and Marcus Alonso, who just play absolutely unbelievably in that 3-4-3 formation. Reece James looked very much back to his best today. He was unbelievable down that right-hand side, both going forward and defensively. And yeah, of course, then Hudson-Odoi did come off the bench and give away that penalty, and I'm not even going to argue because it was a penalty, but United did get their customary penalty, of course, as they usually do. Now, on this question, guys, can anyone give me a stat for the last time United went 3 games in a row without receiving a penalty? Because you're probably going to have to go back at least 12 months before you see it. And that's not a dig at United, because sometimes they do get penalties that actually are penalties, but most of the time they do get the decisions go their way, and I'm sorry if you think otherwise, you're just deluded. But yeah, now we of course only have 4 games left in our current season. We have Liverpool on Wednesday night. Of course, even a draw will be a brilliant result for us, considering the fact that Leicester got spanked by Spurs today. And the best thing about it is it's a game we can now afford to lose, because even if United win, they'll go into 3rd, but then we'll drop down to 4th if we lose. We'll still be ahead of Leicester by 1 point going into the last day, of course, when Leicester have to play United at the King Power Stadium. Then we go into the final game, of course, against Wolves. It's going to be a tough game if it does come down to that. And then, of course, we have the FA Cup final on August the 1st against Arsenal, and I'm hoping, I can't think of any better way to finish Frank Lampard's debut season at Chelsea after such a magnificent job he's done with the FA Cup trophy. I think it would be absolutely fitting to the job Lampard has done, and a brilliant benchmark going into next season. And yeah, guys, that is where we're going to end this video now. If you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like, and if you're just as hyped for that FA Cup final as I am as a Chelsea fan or an Arsenal fan, make sure to drop a like down on that video again. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because of course, obviously, every subscription I get is very much appreciated. And yes, I will see you guys in my next video. See ya.